Hello viewers and welcome to Daily Politics. I'm Hamza Idris. Tonight on the program, we will be interfacing with one of the spokespersons in the presidency. Mr. Laolu Akande is the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Office of the Vice President. He's also a seasoned journalist and a lecturer. He joins us to discuss a variety of issues in the polity as the Buhari's administration gradually winds down. Welcome to the program, Mr. Laolu.
Thank you so much, Hamza, for having me.
We're elated to have you in our newsroom.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Thank you. We also will go on a quick break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you once again. Tell us about the villa. How was it? You've been there for 8 years.
Yeah, well, I must say that it's been a very thrilling experience for me. And I also consider it a great privilege, an opportunity, a wonderful opportunity to be able to serve your country, especially at that level.
It's the highest.
Yeah, it's the highest. I mean, for someone who had always wanted to be part of fixing the country. You know, I remember when I left in '98, you know, to go to the United States, I had a prayer with God. I said, I want to come back to Nigeria and work with a government, if that government is going to be a government of serious reform. And when I got the opportunity to do that, I felt that it was an answer to my prayers. And so serving in these 8 years at that level and with the vice president and the president is a great privilege and wonderful.
I know that before your appointment, you were reporting for Empowered Newswire. It's a US-based agency, and you also served as a former North America bureau chief of The Guardian, Nigeria, in New York, United States. Did you really give a second thought before accepting to come to Nigeria?
Yeah.
Well, in the comfort of New York, you know.
Exactly, and very comfortable except for the cold. Now, but what happened was that, like I said, I had always prayed to God that Nigeria is going to attain its greatness.
Yes.
You know, which I believe clearly Nigeria is endowed to have. So when in 2013, 2014, there was this clamor, you know, that somebody like then General Buhari would be a very good candidate. They were forming APC. I was part of that hope and expectation and clamor, pushing behind the scenes for it. And then in 2014, when now President then, the candidate of APC, picked the vice president as his running mate, when I heard the news in New York, I tapped my wife in the bedroom and said, you know what, I'm going to support that guy.
Is it because of Osibanjo? You said you will support the candidature?
So I was supporting the Buhari, you know, the idea that we're going to have a Buhari there.
Okay.
You know, because I felt, you know, I mean, this was somebody that could solve the problems that the country was having. But I hadn't decided at that level to physically come. But when Osibanjo was picked, that was when I decided that not only will I sit here and support, I'm going to go there.
Do you know him then? Do you know him?
So I've met him just once before that time in 2012 in New York.
Just once?
Just once.
And he changed your perception about himself? Or what?
Before that time, you know, I think he has garnered a very considerably great reputation as the guy that reformed Lagos judiciary when he was Attorney General from 1999 to 2007, and a lot of what he did became a model for the whole country. So when I met him in 2012, his reputation was already ahead of him.
Okay.
You know, so we had probably 5 minutes discussion at a cocktail during an award ceremony for him by the Nigerian Lawyers Association in New York. That was our previous meeting. You know, so when he was picked as vice presidential candidate, I said, look, maybe your prayer is about to be answered. You have to go and support this guy. That was how I came to join the campaign.
But you've been away for a very long time. I know that in the course of your career, which you started in 1989, you started with The Guardian as a reporter.
Yes.
And you moved to the Tribune, I think, after 1 or 2 places.
Yes.
As the youngest reporter, I mean editor at that time.
Yes. Well, so I started in '89 as a freelance reporter for The Guardian. And then I was still in school in 89, but I finished in 90, and then went to do my NYSC, was posted to Guardian, so I did my NYSC in Guardian. They offered me a job even before I finished the NYSC, sometimes in March. We were supposed to finish in September, but by March they already offered me a job as a staff reporter, and I was with them up to 1993 when I joined the news, which later also became Tempo. And then maybe I think 94, 95, I went to
a co-reporter. So the migration, how tough was it from a reporter, an editor to spokesperson?
Well, so basically it's the same endeavor, it's the same discipline if you see it that way. Communications, media, interacting, except that now. As a spokesperson, you are the reporter. In this case, I'm the reporter for the. But
you only report the positives. You don't report the negatives. You don't interrogate, because
we engage.
I know that when you were editor, and even when you were reporting for the Guardian, you covered ASU strike.
Yes.
During Babangida and all that.
Yes.
A fierce reporter.
Yes, clearly.
In that.
Yeah. Because talking about the ASU strike, if you remember very well. The Babangida military government had basically silenced everybody by that time, and there wasn't so much resistance at all, from civil society. And then ASU just came from nowhere and actually brought Babangida to his knees, So
you supported them because you've been reporting.
Clearly, as a matter of fact, not only did I support them, they sneaked me into some of their secret meetings, especially even after ASU was banned.
Was that where you were getting the exclusives?
I was getting the exclusives. They trusted me with everything, and it was very exciting for me. It helped my own career too, because in no distant future I was already becoming a very well-known reporter, writing the front pages, and eventually broke the story of how former head of state then, Obasanjo, came in to resolve the crisis between ASU and Babangida. And I think after 8 weeks or so, is it 8 or 12 weeks? I don't remember. They sorted the.
Okay, that's quite interesting, and
very,
I'm sure
very interesting.
Will do. But how did you become a spokesperson in the presidency?
All right, so I came to join the campaign of Buhari Oshibajo, specifically working with Oshibajo, who was then the vice presidential candidate. So it was part of the campaign, and then we won the election. Buhari and Oshibajo won, and the vice president said to me that that I had to come, that we need to have.
But there were many spokespersons, or whatever you call them, maybe researchers, fixers, and all that in the media. Yes. You've been away for a very long time out there in US. What is the affinity? How was it established?
Yeah, well, affinity with the issue itself, because I never stopped writing about Nigeria, even when I was in New York, and when I had other job. I was a teacher in 2 universities, but I was still writing for the Guardian. I was their bureau chief in the US. I formed my own news agency, Empowered Newswire, sometimes in 2012. So I was writing, I was sending out quite a few newspapers subscribed to the Newswire news agency that I formed. So I was still very actively engaged with Nigerian issues, and people knew that there's one Laolu Akande that reports about Nigerian issues from New York.
Okay, then how has it been working with the vice president for 8 years?
Yes, the first thing to say is that the vice president works very hard.
He works very hard.
Oh, he works very hard. The average time that we close, all of these 8 years, the average time that we close, average, is between 8:30 and 9:30, average.
And when do you start in the morning?
Well, okay, so it depends on what is happening.
The routine,
so at times, there's going to be a trip. We've got to leave the house as early as 7 a.m., 8 a.m., or maybe there's going to be a meeting at 10, at 11. That's how we start. But regardless of how we started, we went all the way to the night, because the man himself is always on the. I remember one instance when I think very clearly, maybe the first month that that he became vice president, and there was one online report that did some very, very ridiculous fake story, news story about him. One unknown online platform. So I said to him that I don't think we should bother ourselves about
responding
that.
to
We should
that.
just ignore. But then I think in about maybe like 4 days, we found out that about tens of thousands of people have already read the story. You know, so we realized that, you know, sometimes maybe after 12, you know, midnight, you know. So I said to him, I said, Prof, you know, that's how I call him every time.
You don't call me His Excellency.
Well, I want, you know, at times, you know.
But Prof.
If it's just the two of us, I call him Prof.
Okay.
You know, but if you are outside other people, you got to give him.
Yeah,
otherwise,
yeah.
they will just say, look at this guy, doesn't, you know. So, but, you know, he's a very simple guy. So I normally call him Prof or VP. So after 12, it was after midnight that we now realized that, look, about several thousands, you know, scores
people, yeah,
have read the story that we have to. So I said to him, around 1 a.m., I said, we do the rejoinder in the morning. And he called me back and said, Laolu, why can't we do the rejoinder now?
Wow. When you drew his attention, maybe, to the fact that you have to respond.
So we walked through the night, you know, on the rejoinder, just to tell you how intense and how hands-on. So that's the first thing about the vice president. He's a very hard-working person. But more importantly than that, I find him to be somebody who is just, I mean, what you see is what you get. You know, he has a passion, not only for the job, you know, and any task that he's given, but he has a passion for people, a true passion for people.
So it's not the typical politician that...
No, clearly. And I think every Nigerian already knows that. It's not your regular, you know, he will say to me that, look, Laolu, we're not a monarchy. We're not going to be here forever. You know, so look, whatever we need to do, let's just do it. And let's do it well. You know, we're not going to be here. I always say that from the day one, I said, look, we're not going to be here forever. So whatever we want to do, let's do it. We have very limited time. He said, whether it's 4 years or whether it's 8 years or even more, it is limited time. So we got to do what we need to do and do it well.
We are told by those who have gone there, not necessarily villa, but even government houses at the state level, that if there is no strong relationship, the tendency is that relationship will fall apart. Immediately after you become spokesperson of someone. You need to know yourselves outside the office before you get there. Is that true? And is that correct?
Okay, but I don't understand that. So the relationship between...
Yes, you told me that, of course, you met him only once.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, during campaign, you started. And then suddenly you became his spokesperson. We were told that unless you have personal relationship, if that personal relationship is not there, the professional relationship will really suffer. You just cited an example now that earlier you said, okay, let's not respond. And then later you said, let's respond. Ordinarily, he should have been angry with you that why we didn't respond at the initial time.
Well, okay, so I think we share a few values together. I have a, you know, and I say this with a sense of modesty and responsibility. I have a very keen sense for public spirit. You know, that the only reason why you have a government, the only reason why people relinquish their rights to a government is because they want the government to serve their interest. You know, that is what I believe is all about government. That government is meant very strictly to serve the people. It shares that view. Okay, so we have that common belief. So it wasn't difficult for us to blend and to become very personally close. It wasn't difficult at all, you know. And of course, you know, we shared other things together. So I don't see any, you know. I mean, the only times we have tension, you know, in our relationship is when he thinks that I'm just being a journalist. That, you know, you're no longer a journalist. You this man, you're not a government spokesman.
Oh my God! Okay. Now in March this year, you know, on his 66th birthday, you penned a tribute in his honor, saying that he exists to inspire, to build a better future for individuals, groups, and the country. How do you mean?
Yeah. So I found him to be somebody. First and foremost, by his reputation, which was the reason why I took the
position.
I decided to even come and join his campaign. You know, by his reputation, he went in as Attorney General in 1999 into a Lagos State judiciary that was very rampantly corrupt, rapaciously corrupt.
But was able to sanitize
and
it.
Sanitize it. It turned that around. You know, so that told me that this is somebody who wants to do something. This is somebody that understands, and I found out that this is somebody that understands that at the heart of governance must be the people, and then a sense of social justice. You know, so and then when you see how he relates with people personally, he inspires a lot by his service, by what he is able to achieve, by the values that he espouses and the things that he believes, and how he walks. You know, he inspires.
You also mentioned that he sustained this pursuit of vision by imbuing patience and humility that created perseverance.
Yes, yes. One of the things is so before I started working with him, I used to think I'm a gentleman, you know, but I quickly found out that.
So he dwarfed you.
Oh, clearly.
Sure.
Clearly, you know. I mean, I found out that okay, I'm not even close, because you needed to see how calm this man handled himself in very tense.
Meaning, even at the height of provocation,
yes,
he restrains.
He will restrain. I mean, I remember one time he had to call me and say, "No, Laolu, I'm not going to be doing it like that," because I was a little, you know, "Oh no, they can't do this. You are the vice president." I said, "No." I said, "No." I said, "Listen." No.
What was the occasion?
Well, I don't even remember the specific details.
Yeah,
it was one of those situations where you would think that no, this guy is the vice president. You know, I mean, he said to me, "Look, you know, I mean, calm down. You know, you have to calm down." And I see that in several instances. You know, and what that does is that you even win over people who would have become very keen enemies, keen foes. You know, you can win them over with your patience. I learned that lesson.
He has done that.
Yeah.
But was he ever, was the vice president ever depressed, that you notice it visibly he was depressed and probably shared a word with you that, "Look, Laolu, I am tired. I wish I can leave this house"?
No, never. I mean,
are you sure?
Of course, there will be
down moments,
things that will irritate you. Of course, you know. But there was never a time. As a matter of fact, we say that, look, we must never forget that when we got this job, we were very excited, you know, and that we have to keep that spirit, you know, that in spite of whatever has happened. When we got the job, we approached this job with a lot of excitement. We brought in a lot of positive spirit, a lot of optimism, and we said that, look, you know, you have to keep that spirit, and that's what I see.
And you mean he sustained the tempo for 8 years?
Clearly,
never got depressed or think of throwing in the towel?
Absolutely not. You know. I mean, I got more irritated, you know, than him.
Meaning that you have gotten depressed at certain time, maybe certain things that ought to have gone left or right,
yes.
went the other way.
But so and that's the point when I say that this man inspires, you know. So you look up to him and it helps you, you know. Say, well, look, come on. I mean, look at.
So even if you wanted to give up, maybe for one reason or the other,
so that this guy is still standing. This guy still believes that we should keep going, and that's why I say that he exists to inspire, because he is quite a very.
But have you ever disagreed with him, that maybe you issued a statement and he said, "No, you're on your own, Laolu"? That is not my business.
There was one instance of that, you know. I didn't quite say it that way, but I'm not going to disclose that now.
Please do.
What am I going to write?
It may be our last interview with you.
What am I going to write in my book?
Okay, in your book. Okay.
Yeah.
But share maybe a little from it that you say you were on your own.
No, well, he didn't quite say I was. Well, he just said that he's not happy that I did that, you know. I mean, and that's the other thing about Professor Yemi Osinbajo. You know, I mean, you expect somebody to come crashing on your head if you did that, but the way he approached it, I knew he was disappointed, but he was still very, very kind. You know.
Was it you defended him on?
Yes, of course, and he felt that you know, I should have been mellow, or I should just ignore it. I mean, it's a guy that normally says that, look, let people say whatever they want to say. You know, you just go and do your work. But I will say that, I said, no, sir, that look, it's important the kind of, if people are saying this kind of stuff and you don't document, if you also don't put the response.
It will become a reference point.
Yes, it will be a reference point, you know. So we have that back and forth. He's a lawyer, I'm a journalist, you know. So he will say to me that, look, I mean, you're just behaving like a journalist. Of course, he's my boss. I can't tell him you're behaving like a lawyer.
But have you ever attempted to do that? To say, allow me to do my journalism thing?
Several times. I remember in the very first early years, you know, we were talking about the job, and I said, VP, just don't worry, let me do this job. He said, no, we'll do it together.
Wow.
So he's so hands-on. But honestly, I have learned a lot from him getting involved in what we do together. I've learned a lot.
And people say the villa is jizzed.
I don't think so. I think it's a complete.
It's hyperbolic. Maybe the statement.
Yeah, it's you know, it's completely.
Have you ever seen spirits, you know, within the villa?
I think it's totally baseless. I think it's just.
Or took in.
But people can believe it, you know, for their own. But I don't see it that way. Like I said, look, anybody who gets to work. I mean, this is the White House of Nigeria. You know, I see a lot of. I'm living with a lot of excitement. I'm living with a lot of gratitude. I'm living with a lot of thankful spirit. I'm living with a lot of fulfillment.
What about regrets?
No fear. I don't have any regret
Are
at
you
all.
sure?
Absolutely.
Not even one?
Well, look, maybe in terms of hopes that we are deferred, but
which hopes?
Well, because, like, I believe that he would have made, if he were the candidate of the party, it would have made a lot of difference. And thank God we still won. You know, our party still won, but clearly we would have had a much more easier route. You know, and there will be a lot of excitement in the country. But hey, you know, that is past. You know, and we still have. Somebody that is also a progressive there.
But it ought to have been Osibanjo.
Well,
the wishes were horses.
The party, at least maybe not at this time, and that's fine.
Is it the party or the delegates actually that?
Well, yeah, that's the framework. You know, that's the process of the party to which we submitted to.
A few days ago, former Emir of Kano, he made a statement similar to yours that, you know, I don't want to be misquoted, but he alluded that why not Osibanjo? Why do you think people are craving for his presidency? Because
people, so in the case of Osibanjo, it is no longer a question of we don't know what this guy will do, because they have seen him do it, especially when he acted. Now, if you look at it, he acted for president for about 160 days in total.
In total, okay. So he kept record of that.
Oh yes. You know, I think on 5 occasions. Actually, there's a book that was written by 25 journalists, and they actually detailed, you know, all those dates. You know, and by the way, that was even how I was able to put it. I knew I hadn't calculated it myself, but he acted as president, you know, for 160 days. Now, the longest of it was, I think, sometimes in 1998 when he acted for 105 days.
That was when he sacked DSS?
Yeah. So the point I was going to make is that he actually has shown Nigerians that if I become president, this is what is going to happen. So that explains why you have this clamor for him and everybody. Because it's not that, oh, we don't know what this guy is going to do. Yeah. They have seen it, that this is the kind of president that he will be, and that's why people like Emir of Kano, you know, Mo Ibrahim, the Sudanese billionaire, and virtually the vice president of the US, virtually everywhere, saw emirs and all over the place. That's why everybody was clamoring for him, because they have seen. It's not a question of we expect, we hope. They have seen. The stuff that is made of, and I can do the job very well, and clearly he has the spirit, he has that national spirit, he has the character, he has the competence, and he has the capacity.
Is it true that at certain time the president was favorably disposed to Osibanjo's candidature? Well,
so that is where, you know, the question comes, is above my pay grade.
You have to say it, because you're very close to him.
I won't be able to divulge, you know, what the president and vice president discuss. You know, I will be.
But how close? How close were they?
I mean, I think everybody knows that they are very close. You know, clearly. I mean, you could tell from their whenever they are out together at events, how the chemistry. They were very
But
close.
people say appearance could be deceptive.
Oh no!
Maybe when they are in public, you see them behaving like twins, siamese twins. But when they get back to the villa and then the real subordinate thing surface.
Let me say this. One of the things that people have not really accounted for is the great sense of humor of the president.
Okay, Buhari.
The president is a...
You are saying he's a humorous person?
The president would have had a great career as a stand-up comedian. But people have not really seen that. So and this is what happens in there. I mean, the vice president cannot stop telling us stories of that every time the president has something funny, very humorous. So I mean, I think they were quite close, and they have managed to show that the president and the vice president can understand their roles. The vice president told us from day one that, look, my role is to support the president. If you accept to be vice president, you've got to support the president. That's what your role is. And he has done it.
But he wished to be the president also.
Yeah, and he did put himself out.
At what point did he started nursing that ambition, based on your estimation?
Well,
was it during the first 4 years or the first 2 years of the second tenure?
What I will say is that, and this is my own personal view.
Okay.
That the way, the kind of leadership that the vice president has shown Nigerians, and the kind of influence that he has developed, especially among young people, what he has represented, by the time we got to 2022, it was clear to me that this man had to put himself up, because you couldn't have done all of that and then you have the opportunity and then you just walk away. It would be a great disappointment to the aspiration of Nigerians.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a question of where at what point. It was a question of, look, the totality of it all. And somebody who has understood what it is that has been done, what wasn't done, what needed to be done, and how to do it. That's why that has shown Nigeria very clearly that at the heart of governance must be social justice. At the heart of governance must be the people, and the people have gotten the message. So for me, it was just something that had to happen. Now, it was a different ball game, how the matter is disposed of, but I felt that he had to put himself up. It's the only right thing to do.
So this was in 2022.
Yes.
But at what point did he inform President Buhari?
I wouldn't be able to say specifically.
Yeah. Because I remember in March we reported here in Daily Trust that VP Oshibanjo had indicated interest, and he told him that he will vie for the presidency. But I remember you were very angry with us.
Yeah, because
you even called me that, look, Hamza, why did you do this? Why?
Yeah, well, because, I don't think it had happened at that time. Look, one of the things that the vice
But
president...
we got our information, honestly, from credible sources.
Well, this is what I would say, Hamza, is that and this is what he told me, and I believe it because I could see
around that time,
is that, look, there were a lot of things that were going on in the country, quite a few challenges, and the president needed him as vice president to support him, to keep doing, and the president had given him specific responsibilities. So it wasn't until he announced, the timing wasn't right. I imagine that there might be mention, even in their discussion,
which we actually latch on based on our insider information.
That wasn't to say that he had now said no. The time we announced was the time, the right timing. Of course, people can make all kinds of, there may be all kinds of discussions, but to now say, look, sir, I want to go, it hadn't happened. And we didn't want to create that impression because there are a lot of economic problems. Look, at that time, for instance, the president had given him the assignment to sort out the issue of the security architecture, how to rework it. So the president had jobs to do, and so, you don't want to look at the back and is this guy...
Our story shook you that time.
So yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Laolu. We'll take a short break.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, please don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining this, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Yes, I will still have Mr. Laolu Akande, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity Office of the Vice President.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you.
People were surprised. Of course, the Vice President has the wherewithal, the pedigree and all that to go for the presidency. But sometimes people say morality, or is it, eye contact or relationship can influence someone to live what is legitimate. You understand? Now, I'm talking about his relationship with the president-elect. Yeah. Some people say he shouldn't have even contemplated going for the presidency because Tinubu had indicated interest for a very long time. Why do you think he indicated interest despite that relationship?
Okay, again, I'm going to speak for myself.
Yeah, because you're close to him.
Because I would rather let him be the one to explain whatever.
I wish you prepared that grounds for us. Let him tell Daily Trust first.
I will explain to you, my perspective. And of course, my perspective is based on what I believe and what I see. So, for the way I see it, it's a question of a relationship with Nigerian people, and a relationship with your
benefactor.
Yeah.
Is that correct? If I say benefactor,
well, of course. I mean, in a sense, the vice president started his public life as special advisor to the Attorney General of the Federation in 1988. That was where I think he worked about 4 or 5 years. 5 years there. Started.
Was that Bola Ige?
No. That was Prince Bola Ajibola.
Bola Ajibola, yeah.
That was in 1988, 87 or 88.
And he also followed him to...
Yeah, and then folled him to... So, I mean, it was clearly... And then he had become... he was already...
A man on his own.
A notable law... in fact, he became a professor at the age of 30.
But some people keep saying that it was Tinubu that actually brought him out.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know. Don't let's go there because it's really... It's neither here nor there.
Is that not correct?
No, I'm saying... This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that, look, this was a man who had, I think, maybe in his late 20s or very early 30s, became special advisor, became a law professor at 33.
Wow.
A professor of law, was special advisor to the Attorney General. At that time, I think there were only 2 or 3 special advisors in the whole federal government.
Wow.
It was 1 decade after when he became Attorney General, which was also
Commissioner for Justice.
Clearly a big position, and that was then Governor Tinubu that appointed him clearly, and they have, both of them have very close relationship, and they're still close up till today.
Are you sure?
Now, but let me make my point.
Yes.
The way I see it is that so after you've been vice president for that long, after you've created that sense in Nigerian people, and when you know what the problems are, that you are equipped, to sort it out, very easily, because you've been going through a grooming.
All the processes, yeah.
Clearly, in our own estimation, it was the better prepared candidate, without a doubt. And like I said, you have to choose between, the fate and the destiny of 200 million people. and your relationship with your very nice friend and benefactor.
Yeah.
So for me.
So it was about altruism of sort.
And the other point is that Yemi Osinbajo and Bola Tinubu met because of public service. It wasn't as if they were padi before. The governor then, Tinubu, needed a damn good, guy to be his attorney general, and the part of himself and Yemi Osinbajo crossed, and they both did wonderful stuff. So it was the same public spirit that brought them together, that demanded that the vice president had to.
But it appeared as if Tinubu was really begrudged. When you look at the video, the clips of the day of the primaries, after
I will tell you what I know, that, and this is what the vice president always say, and I'm sure that it's the same thing that Tinubu shared. There's no personal animals at all. Look,
mean that contest did not affect their relationship at all?
Look, you only just needed to see them when they are together and when they are alone to understand that a lot of this that people are making, all this, quite a bit of noise. And of course, there are people around the papacy, as they say, that are holier than the Pope.
Yeah.
Let me say this very categorically.
Okay.
The relationship between the president-elect and the vice president is quite close, has always been close, and I don't see any reason why it will remain close.
You think post Buhari Osinbajo era that maybe President Tinubu will refer to the vice president for one thing or the other?
I don't want to go into speculation. Yeah. But I can tell you that I have no doubt in my mind that they have been in the trenches together. There's a kind of affinity that you develop. I mean, if you have spent time in the trenches with somebody, this relationship goes very deep. They've done great things together. Now I remember when. After the primaries, and then the presidential candidate then came to visit the vice president in his house. You
widely shared the photos.
I was there, and the president was telling everybody that myself and this guy, you guys don't know that we've come a long way.
He said that.
Oh yes. So look.
But during the visit, was the VP shocked?
No.
Or he expected that?
Well, I don't think he was shocked.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it was expected or not. But certainly he wasn't shocked. And what I know is that they are quite close.
Now go back to Buhari Osinbajo relationship. Yeah, there was this insinuation that some people got in between them, going by the way some of the portfolios assigned to him were actually taken to Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, like the social interventions and other. What really happened?
So that's the other part that I'm not ready to divulge. Look,
my God, please share with me.
You cannot. I can't be putting out. I have to write a book.
Yes, but let me.
Don't forget. Don't forget that I'm going to be jobless from May 30.
Well, that would have been. But the last question I will ask you whether you're going back to the newsroom or you're going to establish your newspaper or your television station, or you're going to vie for election, or you will look for another appointment in the next government.
No, I'm going to remain. I'm going to go back to journalism. I mean, I love my job as a journalist.
But on a serious note, I want to hear what really happened. Why were some of those things taken away from the?
Well, honestly, I think the best person to explain that would be the president.
But was he worried when those things were taken away from him?
Well, look, so there were a lot of things that he had to do.
Yes.
And we always knew from the get-go that, and he always told us that, look, there are no two presidents. So you guys don't get these things mixed up. He always told us that there's one president. And all of us, including himself, that's what he says to us, the VP, says, our job is to support the president. That's our job. That's our job. So if the president says, do this, okay, that's what you do. The best you can show is that, look, whatever they ask you to do, you do it so well. And everybody will see. Yeah. And then takes it, gives you another one, and if you look at it, the president has given him a lot, so the president can say that, okay, look, I want to change my strategy, we are doing this like this way, and I want to do it that way.
Yes.
And then the VP say, fine. But you could see that the president kept giving him more and more responsibility. I can list a lot of special committees that he was given. For instance, I just did an update today on the work of the Committee on Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. The president asked him to chair that. The president asked him to chair the reassessment committee for national security.
Yeah.
Several others.
Because I heard that.
Not to talk of the statutory roles.
Yeah.
Chairman of National Economic Council.
Yes, I have a question on that.
Council on privatization.
Yes.
So there was just, look, the federal government is so huge, it's so large.
During his days, manning some of these social intervention programs. Of course, we saw him in markets and all that. Some people do not align with that. They said because it's not really documented, but it's not everything that you must document, right? But
so what is not documented?
The sharing of.
Okay, let me clear here. He never shared cash in public.
When he went to the markets, what was he giving them?
Okay, so there were people who were doing the payments. Okay, electronic payments. So the way it will work is that before he arrives, the people whose job it is under BOI in most cases would have gone to the market. They will identify that this person, talking about the petty traders.
This was ahead of 2019.
Yes, they will have gone to the market and say that, oh, this person is a banana seller, and normally comes to this place, this is his name. They have captured his biometrics and everything, and they have determined that, okay, this person should get 5,000. So they will, if the person has a phone, they would transfer the money, and maybe there's a POS close that they can take the money.
So it wasn't cash.
So the vice president,
and it wasn't arbitrarily.
I mean, come on. Look, this guy, the vice president is a thorough going guy. He does his things very diligently. So today now we have data. We have data about petty traders in Nigeria that was never put together before. We have data about petty traders. We have data about people doing MSMEs. We have data about poor people. We are going to get to about a register of 50 million poor Nigerians. We have documented. We know them. We know where they live.
Laolu, I know of this. That's why I'm asking you, because the reason why they took that from him, because that there were issues with Minister of Humanitarian Affairs that they want to use a separate register to do all these social interventions, apart from the register, which will have reached the real people.
I think it's the same register.
Sure.
There are no two registers. So that social register was started, when we started the social investment program in 2016. We started developing that register. It's the same.
But are you saying that what the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs did all this while she's on the same page with the Vice President?
Well, no. So in the second term, the President created that ministry.
Yes.
And then handed it over to a minister.
Yes.
And I think part of what he was trying to do was to make this thing something that we continue. So he created a ministry for it, which seems to make sense, to have a ministry to be in charge of it, and then appointed a minister to be in charge of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the job, so for instance, this committee on poverty reduction and growth strategy, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs is also a member there, and the President and the Vice President is the chair. So there are still areas where the Vice President would still oversee and convey a coordination of it. So I don't really want to go into all of those.
Maybe we'll read it in your book.
There are always intrigues. Let me just, of course, anywhere you have power, even in the house, when the husband and the wife and the children, the intrigues is always part of life. But honestly, it's not something to poo-poo about.
Has the removal of the DSS when Buhari was sick, this man from Daura, and the NIA, right? Because he took also a decision on the...
No, he didn't remove the NIA.
I mean, certain things happen around...
it was when they were... when the president asked him to probe, to investigate...
Yes.
I think the then DG of NIA and his SGF. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has that affected his relationship with the president in any way? The removal of the...
I don't know so.
Not yet, but it affected his relationship with the cabal, the so-called cabal around the villa. Laolu.
Well,
he must have paid a price for that decision.
Well, look, I mean, the important thing is to do what you have to do, and to do it with a sense of fairness and to do it with a sense of this is the right thing to do for the country. That's the most important thing. Look, when you are president or when you are acting president, you carry a lot of responsibility. It's not a joke, and whatever you do sends a signal, to the people. It's either people withdraw confidence and inspiration from it, or people will be dejected and disappointed.
Yeah.
And the what the vice president has done when he acted as acting president was to just do what is right.
And they said it cost him a lot in terms of attacks, trying to detach him from the president.
Well, that's why I said there will always be intrigues. Whatever you do, head or tail. For some people, is a catch-22.
Has he any regret for taking those actions?
I don't think so.
He is firm. He believes in what he has done.
Well, based on what I know, absolutely. And being somebody that was very close to him. Look, you got to lead. When you're a leader, you lead. You set examples. You send signals. And this is a democracy. It's a democracy. It's about the people. And when you're a leader, you must carry the burden. Yes, you have to carry burdens.
I have seen some posts here and there, even though the new government is just about starting and it will take maybe 8 years or 4 years, only God knows. But some people are saying Osinbajo still has chances. Do you also believe that he has chances of one day being the president of Nigeria?
Never say never.
But will he try?
I don't know.
Anyway, is he going back to preaching, because he was actually a pastor of the Redeemed Church?
He never stopped preaching, by the way.
You mean it? Even while being in the villa?
Yeah,
I've never seen him on
there's a chapel in the villa. He has preached there several times. He has preached in other churches, whether in Abuja or other parts of this country, several parts of this country. So he's going to continue to preach. He's a ranked pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, just, and he will remain there. And if you are going to ask me whether he was going to remain in politics, the answer is yes. He
will remain in politics?
Yes.
Well, meaning will come for a campaign.
He shouldn't leave.
You will not discourage him to leave?
Why will you leave if what you want to do is
an age on his side, going by Nigerian politics and all that?
And what?
Age is still on his side. He's 66 now.
Yeah, and he's very fit.
Laolu, do you think he has done something which he later told you that I wish I've done this differently?
Well, I think generally everybody in life, you can always learn how to do things better.
Yeah.
All of us. But I don't think that there is any sense of regret. But, could we have done something, generally even as an administration? Are there things that we could have done in a different way, even better way? Yes.
Now, of course, it was when he held the last federal National Economic Council meeting, right?
Yes.
That they shelved this idea of subsidy, right? That they should leave it for the next administration. I think it's one of the... What gave him the courage to do that? Because the president has been quiet. Nigerians believe that they are going to remove the subsidy. They will share 800 million.
No, let me give you the right perspective.
Okay.
So the decision to remove the subsidy has been taken a long time ago. But the president...
But why was the Minister of Finance hell-bent? She kept saying that it has come to stay, we are going to remove it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the decision to remove the subsidy has been taken a long time ago. But what the president had insisted is that, look, we have to do these things right. We have to do it in the right time.
Okay.
We have to work out some kind of relief, some very considerable relief for the people. How are we going to do this in a way that the little people, the ordinary Nigerians, are not so buffeted? So that is what has been holding it for a long time. So what happened at that NEC meeting was that the finance minister was basically briefing the council that the Buhari administration and the transition members of the incoming president-elect had reached the conclusion about that you should just wait
for the next government.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, do you have any regret serving in this government as a person?
Well, look, I mean, what I have to say could be explosive, you know. So I don't know whether.
Please say it.
I think that I think we don't pay public servants properly. So I left the U.S. to take this job, and when I took the job, I knew I was going to take a salary cut.
Yeah,
you know, and that was okay.
So what you were earning was better.
Let me just give you this. So in 2015, you know, my salary here could pay for my mortgage, you know, because you already drive about $2,000.
Yeah.
But right now it's just 1,000 and change. It's just ridiculous.
Meaning the inflation has eroded.
Well, even that, you know, even in 2015. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if my salary, all that my salary could do is to pay for my accommodation. It's just a joke.
Oh my God. Finally,
that's
are you disappointed or you are satisfied with the performance of the government in one word or two sentences?
I think this administration has done well overall. Now, like I said, there are a few things that
ought to have been done better.
But look, I mean, I can sit down here and reel out
achievements.
A lot of things that has been done.
We'll read that in your book.
And I'm very proud, you know, to be part of this administration.
Thank you very much, Laolu Akande.
Thank you so
Senior
much.
Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Office of the Vice President, for coming to our studio and for sharing so many things that were not out there before.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me and you know, thank you for your very engaging interaction.
Thank you very much. And viewers, that's a wrap on today's program. Thanks for watching and do join us again. I'm Hamza Idris.